Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Minnesota who, well, peace and salutations to the elect. Now the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is brother Thamaya from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. So, today's video I'm going to be talking about um, whatever the Lord brings upon you, take cheerfully, okay? Because without fire, the impurities that's in gold, it'll remain in gold, right? Anything that is precious has to go through a purification period, right? Where the elements has to be added in order for it to get the purest form of whatever that mineral is. Same thing with the Heavenly Father and the elect, right? I'm not saying that anyone that catches hell is the elect, like it, but I'm saying that whenever you're dealing with the Lord, you have to go through that period where hell is brought upon you, right? That's the only way you're going to be tested, right? And take it like a man, right? So we have many examples of this in the scriptures, right? I'm gonna make this short. You have men like Job who went through adversity, and guess what happened? He came out a stronger man. He came out a more spiritual man, right? So the same thing with all the men that are sighing and crying for the abomination um, in the midst thereof. The Lord will test you, right? And the Lord will make sure you lean upon Him in the time of trouble, right? Even in the time where everything is going all right, right? So He has to make sure that you need Him, man. Right? If everything's going smoothly, you're gonna take the Lord for granted, right? And it's just part of the flesh. So let's get Job 1:13 and there. Now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking in the oldest brother's house, right? And Job's son and daughters, they were taken from him, and it was justifiably so, because guess what? They were out here doing their thing too, okay? Job had to sacrifice for them because they were celebrating certain holidays also, right, of the heathen, right? It tells you they're celebrating their day, right? Um, when you go into the KJV, it goes into the birthday, right? The messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them when the Sabians raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven, right, and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was speaking, another also came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels, and took them away. Yes, and they killed the servants at the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you, right? While he was speaking, another also came and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the oldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Then Job rose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and fell to the ground and worshipped, and said, naked came I from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. There the Lord gave, and the Lord have taken away. Blessed be the Lord name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. In all this Job did not sin, nor change Yahweh with wrong, charge Yahweh with wrong, Salakia. Right? So this is it's the same mentality that we should have when we're dealing with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because the Lord give it and the Lord take it, right? Time and chance happen to every man, right? The Lord can give you things, and the Lord can take things from you, right? Um, the Lord blesses you, and the Lord curses you. It is what it is, right? Everything is of the Lord. Blessings and cursings of the Lord, right? Prosperity is of the Lord. Also, death is of the Lord. Okay, so these are examples that we were blessed with in order for us to continue worshiping the Lord. Okay, these are the things that the Lord put His men through in order for them to be tested, right? Because gold is tried in a fire, right? Gold is tried, man, in the fire, an acceptable man of adversity. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus 2 and 5, and it says, gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? Because the men that the Lord has chosen from the foundations of the earth, they are looked at as gold, right? Precious gold is of Ophir, man, right? The choice gold, the most highest choice gold on the planet Earth. That's where it is, and the Lord um, is comparing His men to that. So if you're that, right, or if you're worshiping the Lord, this is what comes with it, right? You have to be tried. You have to be put through the ringer. You have to be put through adversity in order for you to be acceptable, man. That's just what it is, right? Because you have to try. Same thing with a woman, with a relationship. Any relationship, everyone have to be tested, right? If you don't test them as a man dealing with a woman, if you don't test her, how are you going to know she's the one for you? How are you going to know if she's worthy, right? You have to be tested, man. So we're the Most High woman. So He's going to test us to see how much we love Him, right? And how much we need Him. Do we call upon Him in our time of need? What do, right? Take cheerfully. I think that's Ecclesiasticus 1, Ecclesiasticus 2. It says here, you know what? Let me get Ecclesiasticus 2. I'll just start at 2 and 1 and finish it off because I gotta go. Ecclesiasticus, the second chapter. All right, 2 and 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy soul aright, and constantly endure. So whenever you're going through things in this truth, in this walk of ours, you got to be constantly enduring, because guess what? The Lord's always going to put little things, little pitfalls in front of you, right? Might put a woman to test you, might test you financially, might test you spiritually, right, with the demons. He might test you with other thing that the Lord can test you with, man. Diseases, right? He can plague you with that. He can plague you with sicknesses, right? He can plague you with being locked up, with accidents. Doesn't matter, man. The Lord can test you, right? That's just how we get down. Because this world, guess what? This world is temporal, right? You can use anything in this flesh to test you with it, right? And it's how you handle it at the end of the day. You got to know we're all sinners, and the Lord can test us at any time, because guess what? We sin every day, right? None of us are exempt. Cleave unto Him. Yep. And make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto Him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Same thing I just brought out. Believe in Him, and He will help thee. Order that thy way aright, and trust in Him, right? So we have to put our trust in the Lord, man. At the end of the day, when these things are brought upon us, when trials and tribulations are brought upon us, when plagues and emotions are brought upon us, we have to call upon the Lord, right? And know that we have to be tested. And that's how the Lord deals with you, right? He tests you out. Shalom.